One person I won't name, but one person actually wrote to me and said that I have been thinking of adopting a child for a very long time, and I think after this film, I might think seriously. I loved the performances. I think Shahid was outstanding in that film. So those performances stayed with me. As a film, I didn't agree with many things. Yes, I don't belong to any camp. I've never belonged to one. Tiger is someone who I have like a soft corner in my heart because he's my first co-star in Hindi film industry, and we've started our careers together. As you mentioned, Bachchan Pandey, there's Hum Do Hamare Do.
Yes.
There is Bhediya, there is Adi Purush, there is Ganapath. There are actually 2 more films that I have said yes to.
So even before we start talking about other things, I want to ask you, what is the best compliment you got from Mimi till now?
Compliment is very difficult to choose, honestly, because I think what is happening right now with me is that everyone's talking to me and calling me and then saying that, listen, talk to my mother, and talk to my father. So I think I'm talking to like all generations of people, and they're loving it unanimously, which is great. And what's never happened is also when people are calling or messaging and saying thank you for making this film. And that
lovely.
One person I won't name, but one person actually wrote to me and said that I have been thinking of adopting a child for a very long time, and I think after this film, I might think seriously.
That is very sweet.
Yeah, that gave me like goosebumps.
True. And it's lovely, how I'm sure even as actors, you all must be thinking so many times that how actors in films really impact people. It really moves them from within. And does it make you feel privileged to be a part of an environment, of a field, of a profession like acting?
Absolutely. I think there is so much impact that we can have, as creative people, being in the business that we're in, on people's lives. There is so much that we can attempt to change, in terms of people's thoughts, in general, if there's something that we feel is not happening right, there's so much a film can actually do and change.
Yeah.
And it can, as you said, leave an impact on people's lives and their mind. If you leave them with a thought that changes the way they think, I think that's a lot of power.
It is. Does that also make you aware about the kind of scripts you select?
See, I don't. I won't say. I'll be honest. I would love to play a negative role, and I'm not going to think like, oh, what is the impact that this role is going to have? No, I just feel that overall impact of a film should not be negative. Every film is not meant to teach something. Some films are just stories, and some films are just stories because they're just great stories to watch and for entertainment purpose, and that's it. But yeah, in your career, if you do a few films at least every now and then, which also have something to say, then it's great. But it's not like I look for that only in every film. I would love to do a Gone Girl, honestly. It doesn't have anything nice to say. You're playing a character who's like really warped, but it's a story. Like at the end of it, if you do an Andhadhun, it doesn't have anything positive. It's not like giving some seek, but it's a fantastic story to do and to watch.
Sure. But as artists, you will also have like a borderline thing, that this I will not do. Like, for example, if a Kabir Singh comes to you, will you take it up?
I don't really know. I didn't like the film, so I don't know. I loved the performances. But yes, I think sometimes we watch the film because of the people that we are, and we watch it from our thought process, and there are things that we don't like. So I don't know. I loved the performances. I think Shahid was outstanding in the film. So those performances stayed with me. As a film, I didn't agree with many things. So,
sure. Yeah. Does it happen with you that you kind of have let go many brand endorsements because you couldn't connect with the brand?
There have been once, twice. As a model, I did certain brands because I was a model, and that time it didn't matter who I was. At that time, I didn't even have the sensibility. I would say I was too young. But I think as you grow, you evolve. You also realize that there are certain things that you don't stand for, and you don't want to do those things. So anything which is basically asking you to say, change your color,
Sure.
or whatever, endorsing something which is not correct.
Yeah.
I would.
Fairness creams.
Yeah, see, there is a difference. There are some things which kind of just tell you that you can remove your tanning, and that's okay. We all get tanned when we go to beach and we want to remove our tanning. That's fine. But if you're saying that fair skin is what is great and that's what you should aim at, that's wrong.
You have rejected endorsements like these?
I don't remember if it's come to me, but there are times when I'm very careful of what the brand is trying to say. Sometimes the language, one word here and there can actually make a huge difference. So I'm very aware of what they're saying. So there are certain things that were, at times written, which according to me were not correct. And then I got that altered. I wouldn't say something like something wrong.
Sure. And I have to tell you, Kriti, also when I see your journey today, I feel so happy because I remember meeting you at Nadiyarwala office for Ganapath. And since then to now, it's been, I think, 7 years. 7 years in the business. How has this journey been, Kriti? How do you look back at these last 7 years? And I'm sure it brings a smile on your face.
It does, obviously. I mean, when I look back at how I was during Ganapath, I was a baby in a new world, sort of fascinated by everything, doesn't know what her mark is, doesn't know what camera facing is. And, but I was always a thinker, is what I remember. It comes from also the fact that I'm an engineer. I think my mind is constantly working and I'm trying to think what else can be done. I have always had the hunger to grow, and that's been a constant from then to even now. I have discovered my process. I've discovered what works for me, what doesn't work for me, my craft, the kind of roles that I get attracted to, and a lot more about my craft, about acting. I've fallen more and more in love with what I do. I think when I came in, I didn't know much about acting. I never taken like workshops. I just did what I felt was right. And slowly, I think I've started enjoying it a lot more than what I used to, because I know it, better than what I used to. The prep process, all of those things, getting to learn so many different things, in these years. I think that's what's been exciting for me.
Sure.
So when I look back, it's like I see the fact that I have grown over this time constantly.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to continue doing.
Sure, and it won't be wrong to say that you are among the top league actors in India today. And when we speak about Mimi, I feel that it's your career best performance. Do you think that way? Do you also objectively look at it?
It's very modest to say that, but yeah, I feel so too. I think somewhere I went a little deeper in Mimi, and also I think Mimi as a film kind of gave me a lot more to do as an actor, in terms of the graph that the character had, the kind of scenes that, I could emote. Those are challenging scenes, but every time you are challenged is when you'll go deeper, you'll do more than what you are doing. So I think it gave me that platform that I could explore, and I'm glad that I ended up doing a decent job at that.
Absolutely. This debate of insider outsider is going on for a while. Do you now feel like an insider?
I do. I have felt for a while. I think, yes, I don't belong to any camp. I've never belonged to one. I have had a few people who have been a very, very important part of my journey, who have believed in me, and without whom I think my journey would have not been the same. And I always remember that, and I always respect that. But yeah, I think the more I work here, the more I get to know people, the more I feel at home. It's like any new place, when you go to a new city, the more you make friends, the more you know the places around, you start feeling more at home in that place. Yeah. So I think it's like that only. I think I have gotten the validation, the respect, the opportunities that anyone would crave for. So I do feel at home. I do feel like an insider. I don't know what that means, but I feel like I belong here.
going back to the beginning of your journey, you started your career with Tiger Shroff, and you will now soon do another film with him called Ganapath. You, of course, did one song with him also after Hero Country, I remember that. But how does it feel like? I mean, you and Tiger have been very close. Whenever I have asked him about you, he's always been very, very fondly has said a lot of things. How excited are you guys to like collaborate again for Ganapath?
Very, very excited. See, Tiger is someone who I have like a soft corner in my heart because he's my first co-star in Hindi film industry, and I've, we've started our careers together. We've been in the same boat, gone through the same things, grown like together. I have not been, he and I have not been like as thick friends to sort of stay in touch with each other all the time. We don't really like meet up, catch up. We're not those kind of friends. But we always wish very, very well for each other. And that's been like a constant. I think that warm feeling that's there for each other is always going to stay. Yeah. I'm just so happy when I see him grow, and I do see him do better, and to like, make 200 crores and this and that. And like get better and better and higher in his jumps and everything that he does. Yeah. And it's just very exciting. So I don't know why we've not worked together in the middle for so many years, but I'm so excited to actually face the camera with him again. And I don't know how it's going to be because we both have really grown from where we started.
True.
But I think it's going to be a very new feeling, but yet very familiar.
Yeah. But when do you start shooting for Ganapath and, tell me something about the film, your character. Obviously, I know you can't tell me much, but as much as you can.
See, I can't tell about the character, but yes, you'll see me do action for the first time properly. Wow. You've seen the poster that has me on a dirt bike, so that's also something I'm supposed to learn. I mean, I did ride a bullet in Bachchan Pandey, so I did learn how to ride a bullet, but a bullet and a dirt bike are very, very different from each other.
Oh, okay.
Which reminds me that I have to start these trainings soon, otherwise I won't be able to be ready in time. We're starting the film somewhere, I think, in October.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when, but sometime in October is when we're starting. And I started prepping for it, for the action bit of it. I've had a bit of a break because of the promotions and everything that's going. But I'm really looking forward to it because to do action in a film that has Tiger Shroff in it is you have the best in your film. So I think he's going to help me at every place probably.
Also, there is Bachchan Pandey coming up, and you're working there with Akshay Kumar. How is that collaboration like? He's quite a prankster. Did he pull any prank on you?
No, yeah, not really pranks. I mean, itna bol diya that he might pull a prank in promotions. I don't want him to. So, I had a blast shooting with him. I love shooting with him. I think he's a great co-star. He's so much fun to be with on sets. He's constantly playing some of the other games. And I think Jaisalmer, we were there for about 40 days, and it kind of became like a one bunch of a whole family that used to eat together, play together. Sometimes like we would play badminton, sometimes we would play like Ludo, so much Ludo we played. Then there were games that we all used to play like Mafia and one, two more games I'm forgetting. But he's constantly like having fun, and he likes the people to also have fun. We would play like Tambola and all, and even like the people who were serving food then, the people who were from the hotel would also join in. So he's like a people's person, where he likes involving everyone who's there, whether it is a costume person or a makeup person or anyone on set. I think he kind of brings people together, and that's amazing.
Sure.
And we've had a lot of fun shooting that film. It is a very, very unique script, I would say, very entertaining. It's got everything. It's got action, it's got comedy, it's got romance, it's got drama, it's got like a little bit of a thriller, it's got everything.
Yeah.
The dynamics of his and my character is very unique, and you've seen his look. So his look is like killer.
Yeah.
And I think, I've had a blast shooting that film, and there are times when you feel like, when you've had such a good time on set, that shows on screen. So I think people are going to have fun.
True, true. There's Bhedia also, there's Adi Purush also, and somebody was telling me that you are also doing the Hindi remake of Kill Bill. Is that happening?
See, I wouldn't talk about any film that hasn't been announced so far. The films that I can say or talk about are, as you mentioned, Bachchan Pandey. There's Hum Do Hamare Do.
Yes.
There is Bhedia, there is Adi Purush, there is Ganapath. There are actually 2 more films that I have said yes to, but I can't say what.
Hint?
I never do this, and I think it's the producer's right to kind of announce when they feel right, and it's their moment. So
I agree. Nupur did 2 music videos with Akshay sir, and we are all waiting for her to make her acting debut. When is that happening?
It'll happen when the time is right. I feel like, everyone has their own journey, and she is in talks for something, and it's kind of almost done. But I think, again, when the makers announce, they announce. It's not something that I can say or she can say. But I always believe that everyone has their own journey, and she's like, I started with a Telugu film. She started with 2 music videos.
Yeah.
It's a different journey that she's had so far, and she's kind of, I've seen her grow in these 2 music videos also. And I just feel that your first film, I've always said, is like extremely important. Every film, the first kind of, starts that graph. And we've been in a pandemic since 1.5 years. So, I mean, things are kind of going back and forth in everything. So, but soon, I think, hopefully, whenever they decide to announce, you will hear something.
Thank you so much, Kriti. This was a lovely conversation. And as always, I wish you all the luck.